Hello traders, it's Tomek here from the Nikos Trading Academy. This week I will do weekly forecast. So I will show some pairs which are good for possible trades in upcoming week. So let's start from the Aussie yen. If we check this pair, we will see that price is rejecting right now the support level. We see that on the weekly chart it looks like a double bottom here. We have the spike and price might go up. We might get the retracement. The next possible resistance level on the weekly chart is somewhere around this zone, and the higher we have, of course, this one. We also have our 36 EMA, which works as a resistance, so retracement might be possible back to here, where price might bounce and will continue to go down because we are still we still have down pressure. Yes, if we look for this line, this trend line or different angle, we'll still see that the trend is still short on the higher time frame. So let's check daily chart, and right now we see this big reaction, so we can look for possible long bounce entries around this area with the target here. If we look here, we also have this line, and we don't get any other lines close to the price, so we just use the information. Okay, powerful support level, possible bounce, reaction. If we check the 4-hour time frame, what we will see, that price is breaking our trend line. We have the trend line like that. We can draw it like this, connecting the highs, or we can draw different line, but it's still ending at the same point. Here we have more spikes, more touches, so it's more reliable line. But this one is also okay. Yes, we see that it's more or less around the same zone. So what we see, we have the trend line breakout. Price is reaching the 200 EMA, so this might gives us possible retracement, and if we see the retracement, then we can look for long entries with target here. But again, this is a little bit aggressive because price is bouncing. We have also the 36 EMA on the daily chart, and we know that price might react and will go down. But if you treat this as a possible bounce scenario, we can still look for the longs on the 4-hour chart, or even we can go to the 1-hour time frame. We see we also have the 633 EMA here on the 1-hour chart. We can draw this line. We have the 200, 600. After the reaction with low risk, we can look for possible long entries with the targets from the daily chart. Yeah, so this might be really good option. Again, try to take with low risk because it's a little bit aggressive scenario. Next pair is Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, and if we check from the big picture on this pair, we'll see that price is in the really big wedge or range. Yes, if we start to draw the lines like this, or even we can start from this zone, we will see that price is reacting. Yes, between those two levels, it's going up and down, and right now we are in the middle here, and we had this previous range. There is possible chance that price will continue to go back to this because we already spiked on the highs, so the next move might be back to this area. We had this range here. The next support level on the weekly chart is around those previous lows, or a little bit lower, somewhere around this zone, so it's close to the trend line. I wouldn't bother much with this line. I would just focus mainly on these zones. If we go to the daily chart, what we see that after reaching this, price started to range and went down, and if we check, price is making the daily short 1 to 3 right now on the daily time frame. Yes, so we might get bounce and price will continue to go down. We are also on the EMAs, but we know that this is the bigger range, so we don't bother much with those EMAs. What we see on the 4-hour chart, if we adjust the line, we will see that we might have steep small setup soon on the 4-hour chart, yes, to look for the short entries and for possible continuation. And if we look for the 1-hour time frame, there was a setup to look for the sells. Yes, there was this first option after trendline breakout, here we had this scenario entry here, stop loss above the spikes, and right now with the stop loss like 25-30 points, we might gain like 220 pips. So risk reward is really good in this case. Again, if we look for the next support levels where price might to react somehow, of course the previous lows, we have another support level here, so those are the zones where price might get some reaction for possible retracements. Yes, so this is what we would like to see on the Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. Next pair is Euro Aussie, and if we check where price is now, we are on the resistance. Really strongly powerful. We also were in the uptrend. Yes, we see that price is going up. If we change the angle of the trend line, we will also get this with 3 touches. So right now it looks like price is trying to retrace back to the 36 and the trend line, where we might get 2 scenarios: another bounce and continuation to target this, or breakout and possible maybe trend change. In case of the breakout, the next support level for this pair is here. So if you see this, then try to target this, and of course the lower support is somewhere around this area with the moving averages later on. We will see. So what we have on the daily? On the daily, it looks like price was in the range. Yes, was in the range here, was bouncing. Right now, this might be the possible break of the range, and maybe we'll get this bigger retracement back to this area from the weekly. And at this point, we will look for possible bounces or breakouts. So if we see that price is breaking this range, we can start to look for possible short scenarios. On the 4-hour chart, what we would like to see is, of course, our setup. This is our trend line. So ideally, what we would like to get is the 4-hour chart below this support level, and then we can look for the sells. Yes, we can look for the sells. Target might be really good, 300 pips. Exactly the same on the lower time frames. When we check the 1-hour time frame, price right now is going down. So what we would like to get is the setup below, and then if we see this, possible continuations. Euro dollar weekly chart, price is currently on the support level, as we can see here on the weekly chart. We might have 2 scenarios: possible breakout and next continuation of this down move to maybe to this area here on the weekly chart, of course. So this might be really nice move, or bounce, and we will get maybe reaction to the previous resistance, which is somewhere around this area, and maybe we'll get the range here. Daily chart, we see that price is right now retesting this zone. We still have those previous spikes, so maybe we will get something for spikes. If not, if we see that price is going up, we can look for possible long bounce entries again. Of course, our main target should be the resistance, but in between we also have a smaller resistance area somewhere around this zone, where we should manage this position. Yes, because price still might retrace back to this zone, will bounce, and will continue to go down. So that's why we would like to manage this position here. We have also the trend line. What we see on the 4-hour chart, that price is right now struggling. So if we look for possible long bounce entries, we should wait for first for the trend line breakout. So we of course have to go to the lower time frames, and then sorry, we have to wait for this, for the 1, 2, 3 here. And if we see this, then we can take the longs. And again, if we take a look here, we have the daily trend line, so we have to be cautious around this zone. Of course, if price will break this, then we have this target and the next target, but try to manage the pair, try to achieve the win-win scenario before this trend line. If we see that price has continuation, yes, if we see that price is breaking, then of course look for possible sell scenarios below this, and then look for continuation of this down move. GBP Aussie, if we look for the weekly chart, we will see this trend line. we will also get the here we have the 683 EMA. Price didn't reach this exactly, but around this zone we have the resistance, and we see that there was the big reaction. Price right now is going a little bit fast, but the volatility is for the short. It's still pointing up if we look for the weekly. Maybe price is not making the higher highs, but it's still making the higher lows. So this is area where we might have reaction for continuation or breakout. If we see breakout, support level on the weekly chart is somewhere around those previous lows, and of course then price might go lower back to this area. So daily chart, of course we know that price is already moving, so all entries right now will be late. We have the trend line here. Price broke this line and is going down. We have the EMAs here where we might see some reactions, but still a really good area for this pair is here. So if we check the 4-hour chart, we had really steep setup here on the 4-hour time frame. This was the first option to jump in. Right now what we need to see is of course retracement, because price is already moving. We need to see retracement back to our profit zone, which will be the 36 EMA with the trend line. And if we see that price is making another setup, then we can look for possible sells, target the trend line. Risk reward might be good. You can try with the 4-hour chart also with low risk, or 4-hour chart with lower time frame combinations. If you would like to trade on the higher time frames, we can also mix this with 1-hour time frame and for the intraday trade. So what we have to see is another setup on the 1 hour. Unfortunately, we don't have any trend line here, so we have to use the EMA. But if you see the setup, then you can mix this 1 hour setup with the lower time frame combinations. You know the targets from the higher time frames. Cable. Weekly chart again, like always, we do the top-down approach. We have the support level here. We have resistance level here. So it looks like a range. This also looks like a steep short weekly 1 to 3. We see really steep because big move, small retracement. If price decide to break this, then we might have even move to those previous lows, because we don't have nothing in between. So the potential for this is really big. But before this happen, price must break, of course, the lows. And what we might have, like I said, it looks like a short weekly 1 to 3, but this might also looks like a range. So of course, if we see that price is going up again, then is reaching this, then we might confirm the range, because right now we don't have confirmation that this might be the range, but definitely this support is really nice from higher time frame. So we still can look for possible sells. We see that on the 4-hour chart price is bouncing only on the 12 EMA. So we have to go to the lower time frames, because right now this is really late because price already moved. So we have to do is to get the 1 hour setup, and then we can mix this with the lower time frame entries, because we are really close to the support level. So we don't want to trade this directly on the 1 hour chart, because our risk reward is not so nice. In this case, if we look for the trend line, we'll see that we have really nice trend line here. So you see this, and then short entries, and yes, and this would be all. If you see that price is fighting, for example, it's not breaking this, but it's struggling on the support level, what you can do, again, look for possible bounce long entries after trendline breakout. Yes, so if you see, okay, we have this, price is struggling, then is breaking, we'll look for possible long scenarios here. First target, of course, will be the 36 on the 4-hour chart. Then your long-term target should be, of course, the high of this range, possible range. New Zealand CAD reached, of course, support level. If we zoom out, we'll see that we have the previous spikes here. Price reached this right now. It looks like we might have reaction. The next possible resistance area for this pair is here. So we might have this bigger retracement back to the resistance, back to the 36 EMA. We also have trend line only with the two touches, but it's still there. So this might be the key point for possible continuation. Yes, if price will reach this bounce and possible continuation. So if we check the lower time frames, what we will see that price is breaking or already broke the trend line right now is pointing up. So right now we can look for possible longs. Of course, we know where price might to stop, so those are our targets. We also have a 4-hour trend line here. Right now this is only what we have, so we can wait, for example, for the 1 to 3 back to the 36 EMA on the 4-hour chart, and then we can look for longs or deeper retracement back to this and then bounce. Yes, it's possible, but it's also possible that price will just go straight forward. So what we can do is to look for entries on the lower time frames. Right now what we would like to see is the possible retracement on the 1-hour chart. This is our trend line, and if you see this, then you can look for long entries on the 1-hour time frame with smaller risk. USD Swiss franc, we don't have setups yet, but this price is really really on the good level. Yes, if we look for the weekly chart, we have really powerful resistance, and we see what price did like 2 times. Yes, here we had this move like 800 pips, here not much, but still 250, and then again 500. So every single time when price was reaching this, we had those moves. This is also kind of the range here with the false breakouts. If we look for the trend line, we have only this. So after bounce of the resistance, price might reach the trend line, maybe will go up or will just do this. Yes, and then we'll have clean confirmation of this range. In case if price will break this, then there is a chance that price will go back to those previous highs with the 683 EMA. So this is good zone to prepare ourselves for possible short scenarios. Right now, if you see that price is struggling like this, for example, you see, okay, we don't have breakouts, price is not moving up but is ranging, look for possible sell scenarios. Like I said, it's a little bit too early to look right now, but the first sign that we might have possible retracement might be the trend line breakout on the 4-hour chart. Yes, and if you see that price is breaking the 4-hour trend line, then you can look for the 1-hour entries, 15-minute entries, 4-hour entries, and your target first should be the 36 on the daily chart. Yes, on the daily chart, and then of course target those areas. The last pair is USDN. If we look for the weekly time frame, this is the resistance where price reacted. We see this retracement. If we look for the trend line on the weekly chart, it's far away, it's here, so it's, like I said, it's far away. Price didn't reach exactly the 36. It looks like it spiked on the 12, so we might have continuation of this up move. Yes, here. So if we look for the daily chart, we will see that price retested this line. We can also draw the line from this point, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches. Yes, so it looks like price is reacting with this big spike. So what we can do, we can start to look for possible long scenarios and start to target this. On the 4-hour chart, what we need to see is of course the setup, and if we see the setup, then we can look for continuation of possible long entry. And if we look for the 1-hour chart, yes, if we look for the 1-hour time frame, right now we also have to wait. We have aggressive early entry here. Aggressive because it was not so clear. Yes, but there was. This will be like 35 pip stop loss. Right now the first target would be hit. Right now we have to wait for another opportunity. Yes, another option to look for the longs. With the trend line like this, maybe we don't have. Yes, if we draw it like this close to the 36 EMA, maybe that. So 2 scenarios, 4-hour chart, 1-hour chart, both are good. Okay guys, so thanks a lot for watching this video. Of course, wish you profitable week and talk to you soon. Bye.